What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. If you're listening in the podcast feed, it is probably Friday, November 19th. Happy birthday to my cousin Aaron Brinson, or Aaron Fawcett now. And of course, happy birthday
you
to
don't even know your own cousin's last name.
That's weird.
She got married, so her name changed from Brinson to Fawcett.
And
happy birthday to
your cousin married Farrah Fawcett.
Awesome.
I hate both of you.
This story gets better by the second.
And happy birthday to my good friend Powell Baggett. Also,
Oh, Jesus.
it's X number of years, and I'm not really sure how many it is. I think
That name
it's
sounds
probably
made up.
11.
He's a hobbit.
Since I proposed to my wife, November 19th.
Ooh.
About that, huh?
X number of years, he said Breech. So just be clear about that part.
Which reminds me, by the way, joining me, of course, to recap Patriots-Falcons, Ryan Wilson, John Breech. What's up, boys?
I'm doing better, and I'm a little under the weather. I'm still doing better than Matt Ryan.
Oh, you have COVID. I mean, I was supposed to say that.
Did you want that out there? I don't know if you want. It's out there.
Sorry. I didn't mean to do
violation.
that.
Yeah, I actually was diagnosed today with COVID. Give me diagnosed. The test came back detected. So, yeah, I've been feeling under the weather. Not
Sorry, I didn't
terrible.
mean to do that. That was that kind of
I feel pretty good.
Can I catch it through the microphone? What is the? Do I need to sit back 6
Yeah,
feet?
put your mask on.
Anywho, like, I hope you're double vax. You're fine. But that explains why you've been under the weather the last 2 days. Oh, no, don't do that.
That was me
Don't do
passing.
that.
No, I'm fine. Yeah, I feel like I have a cold. That's it. But at the joke was before you. By the way, the worst straight man ever.
Sorry,
Will
I
Brinson.
can't believe that slipped out of my mouth.
You're about to die. I'm doing better than Matt Ryan. Yes, but you're about to die.
Well, I mean, I was going to bring up.
Good thing Ryan's in a joking mood.
I know, right?
I was going to bring up. Well, you know what? Ryan's in a joking mood, right? Because Mac Jones is a boss, and the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl with
even
Mac
after that interception.
I was going to bring up your miserable engagement story where you baked a terrible pan of brownies, left them in the fridge for your wife with
Didn't bake them.
Will you marry me written on them?
Something like that. But again, I didn't bake them. I bought them. Let's get the
That's
terribleness.
arguably worse, right?
Oh, that's why. Yeah, it's
Okay, I'm
100%
just making
worse.
sure.
Objectively worse.
Why are we going to bring that up?
Because I was saying that it had been X number of years since I proposed.
Oh, right. Yeah, fair enough. Yep.
12.
Did we have Breech proposed, by the way? Did we ever get that?
I think you did. You probably don't remember though.
Nah.
I will just say it was in La Jolla, California.
But man, I came to your wedding. What else do you want?
That's true.
That was a fun wedding.
It
It was a
was.
fun wedding.
I wish we knew all the lies that you were going to tell us in the subsequent years so we could ask your dad and your family about it in real time.
Is this true? This is not very. Breech isn't even married. The kid he talks about, we've never seen it. You guys could just keep going. The whole wedding was a stunt where I hired people. You guys don't know.
You're right.
Everyone in the YouTube chat says, "Get well, Wilson." Also, this is, of course, a podcast, but we go live on YouTube. The schedule changes during the holidays. So, for instance, Thanksgiving, we will not be live for a pick show at 1 p.m. But every week when there's not a holiday, 1 p.m. Thursday pick show, 1 p.m. Tuesday, Wilson hosting a draft show. I'm told, sources tell me, be a little Wilson and Brady Quinn bromance next week on the Brady Quinn football show. Pew, 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 pew.
Yeah. To quote Bart Scott, can't wait.
Yeah. No, you and Brady get along great. It's gonna be a good show. You're gonna talk draft. And also, of course, we recap Thursday Night Football as we're doing right now, live on YouTube, Sunday Night Football, and Monday Night Football with the three of us. We will give away tonight, Sunday, and Monday a hat that says Brinson sucks on it. I don't know why this is a thing. I don't know why I'm embracing it.
Wait. You know why it's a thing. I'm not sure why you're embracing it.
The listeners love it, Brinson. That's all that matters. And Wilson loves it, and I love it.
Yeah. So smash the like button on this video, and we'll give away Debo.
That Thursday live show next week, that's on Thanksgiving. So if we're a little tipsy, that is why.
Are we doing a Thursday live show on Thanksgiving?
I don't know. I'm not in charge. I'm just telling you. You mentioned it, so I'm just letting you know, but also the people know.
Fortunately, we have the voice in the sky, Debo. Debo, I think that like this game wasn't that great, so I'm guessing the numbers won't be huge. Are we giving away a hat?
We're gonna try to give away a hat.
Okay.
We're already at 50 likes, so I
Nice.
think we can get to a good number.
And second question that I could probably ask you offline and not on this live podcast, but
The answer's probably yes.
are we doing a live show after the Thanksgiving games?
That's the plan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Have to
Where
talk
we drink wine all day. It's the greatest show there, or the worst, depending on your point of view.
By the way, Brinson, you probably have.
I got some things to tighten up for that shit.
I was gonna say, Brinson, you have plans? Guess where I'll be 7 days from now? Right in my basement.
Quarantined in the basement.
How long do you have to quarantine for?
I came down with symptoms on Monday, so 10 days from that. So it might be that's actually a little longer than Thursday is too far, but that cuts into my joke.
That's like the day you could travel.
Right.
Wait,
or go upstairs.
wait, hold on. I mean, obviously, I want you to get well and feel better. So you can't.
There's a butt coming.
You can't go to like any Thanksgiving stuff.
Oh no! Well, again, Monday, 10 days,
asking.
10 days from last Monday ends up being, I think, Wednesday. So next Wednesday, I think it's if you do 10 days on the math. But
Probably.
my wife had already put it off to next weekend anyway because her dad's out of town or something, and her sister's out of town. So, yeah.
People in the chat are asking, is Wilson vaxxed? Yes, Wilson is vaxxed.
Yeah, I was about to get my booster shot because I'm an old person. But there you go.
Yep. Anywho, the Patriots absolutely humiliated the Atlanta Falcons 25-0. And I don't know if it was even that close. The Falcons finished with 165 yards. They averaged 3.2 yards per play. It was, I don't know, maybe like halfway through the second quarter, and I started feeling really bad for Matt Ryan, who was just getting like every time he dropped back.
Remember what I said on HQ with Akeem? So, Breech, here's the game that we play on the podcast, and I mentioned it with Brinson on HQ Wednesday night. Who would you rather have as your quarterback? And this week, it's Ben Roethlisberger versus Matt Ryan. And again, I think it might be Big Ben this week, just because they're both pretty sad.
The Falcons would have gotten half the yardage they got tonight if Big Ben had been their quarterback in this game.
I don't think this is about Matt Ryan or whoever. I mean, like Mac Jones would suck as the Falcons.
Ryan, if you had a choice of Ben Roethlisberger or Matt Ryan starting for the Steelers on Sunday, who would you pick?
It's close, but the only reason I take Big Ben is because he can take a walloping a little better. I feel safer with him.
Take a licking and keep on ticking.
Right, just because he has a little belly fat.
The thing with Big Ben is, like, you know how if you live in a house for a long time, you know the eccentricity, like the oddities, because I was going to
can't say eccentricities.
Yes, correct. The oddities of a certain house, and like you know how to fix stuff. Like you know how to Big Ben is just that's what he is with the Steelers.
Yeah, you kick the radiator and it comes on.
Yeah, like he knows to go over exactly. He knows.
He's like Biff starting his car in Back to the Future.
Yeah. Nice. He's Biff. You could have stopped that.
He is Biff. Great call. Biff. I don't put any of that on Matt Ryan. That Falcons team is broken, man.
I mean, that interception can be put on now.
That moon punt he threw to, I think that was McCourty, the first one. I mean, you can blame Kyle Pitts if you want. Yes, I get it, but
okay, all right. Let me phrase it a different way. Was this game more about the Falcons being terrible, or was this about the Patriots like
taking care of business,
getting on the radar?
No, the latter, because we knew that the Falcons weren't a good football team, even though they were 4-5 coming to this game. I don't think anyone was under the assumption they were going to make a legit playoff push.
Yeah, I think it was like it was a little bit of both. I mean, we knew the Falcons were bad, but the Patriots, the first 3 quarters, they couldn't put them away. It just felt like every time Atlanta got in the New England territory, it was like, oh my God, if they score a touchdown here, they're literally right back in the game, even though they've done absolutely nothing. And then, the Patriots put the hammer down on 2 different 3rd and 1s and then another 4th and 1. But
like, I don't disagree with you at all, Breech. I bet on the Patriots -6 and said it was good at -7 and
minus 24.5.
But it was like the Falcons would have the ball. The Pats are up 13-0. You're like, oh my God, quick touchdown by the Falcons. And like, they're just gonna be covering all of a sudden. And they just never, it was never in danger at all.
No.
Right.
And then Matt Ryan dressed up as Josh Rosen and did the exact same thing.
And then Felipe
Franks.
Franks.
I quit. He came in and threw an interception too.
1 pass, 1 pick.
This is the first time since 2009 that 3 players threw an interception for one team in the same game.
Who did in 2009? Please tell me it's the Bengals.
It was not the Bengals. I wouldn't have shared the stat with you. It was the Bengals, Ryan, because you would have rubbed it in my face. You guys want to
give me
you guys
a
each
hint.
get one team
2009
to guess. And if you want a hint, I will tell you that it was either an NFC or AFC South team.
I was going to guess the Panthers, honestly.
I'm going to guess the Titans.
And you're both wrong. It was the Texans.
Yeah.
2009. Matt Schaub wasn't there yet.
Matt
I don't
Schaub
think.
was there.
He
Matt
was
Schaub,
there.
Rex Grossman,
Grossman played
Chris-
for the Texans.
Chris Brown. Not
So
that Chris Brown. The other
Who
Chris.
is
Schaub led
Chris
the league in
Brown?
passing in like 2007, maybe.
But I guess Chris Brown wasn't. It was on a trick play.
Oh, okay. I was trying to rack my brain
Oh.
about Chris Brown, the quarterback.
Yeah.
I didn't even know
Wow,
what position he
that's-
plays.
So that's pretty hard to do.
Think?
It is rare.
He
Only-
Schaub led the league in passing in 2009.
yeah, he
Well,
threw.
One of those
that-
passes was interception.
Oh, I guess he got hurt and then Grossman.
Well, he only had to, if they were getting blown out, he wanted to throw one. You get hurt in the third quarter, you miss the fourth quarter, you have backups come in, and it's possible.
Man, I had no idea Felipe Franks came in. I just after Josh Rosen, I went about my business, and then next
Checked
thing you
out,
know-
man.
Rosen threw the
No one
pick,
blames
and
you.
it was just too much for Arthur Smith. Sorry, we can't do that in our offense. So here, let's. put
I would
Felipe Franks.
like to encourage Arthur Smith to get on a treadmill or something because he doesn't look healthy, and he is. I
Or,
don't even
or
know
go
if
to go to a beach and get some sun.
the tanning thing I'm not worried about, but he's so angry and understandably so. I get it, but you health it up so you don't give yourself a premature health issues. Is he even 40 yet? He has to be, right?
Oh,
There we go.
the last time 3 quarterbacks threw a pick in a game was Jim Harbaugh. No, not 3 players. Wilson, 3
No,
quarterbacks.
go ahead. I did this because Arthur Smith is literally 39 years old. He's younger than you two.
Oh yeah, he's young. He does look like someone who's a little bit tired.
So who are the 3 quarterbacks? Jim
Jim-
Harbaugh.
Jim Harbaugh, Ryan Leaf, and Moses Moreno.
And how
for the
perfect is that?
Chargers.
Because you have a veteran who's on his way out, Matt Ryan, Jim Harbaugh. You have a washed out rookie bust, Ryan Leaf and Josh Rosen,
Jeez.
and then an alliterative named quarterback, Felipe Franks and Moses Moreno. What? This is
My.
insane.
Get
Great
Breach is
job,
on
Breach.
fire tonight.
This is
Hey, if you're
insane.
watching, hit the like button on YouTube. We're trying to give away a Brinson Sucks hat. We realized the game wasn't that exciting. We'll try and pull the best out of it. I thought that the Falcons defense is really bad. But man, Ramondre Stevenson and Damian Harris are, they're good. They were explosive running the football. You could tell that the Patriots felt this was a statement game. Come in, take care of business against the Falcons. You got 10 days before the Titans. Then you get the Bills. Then you have a bye. Then the Bills again. That's a big 4-game stretch for the Pats to try and. They're a very good chance to make the playoffs now. Probably 90%.
Yeah, I don't know what the odds are, but Breach.
What did I say on HQ today, Brinson? 99%. That's the Breach math.
today. Which was
Yeah,
impressive.
Breach, if you
before
are
the game.
Breach, if you are Sean McDermott, the Buffalo Bills, how nervous are you that you have to play this team twice now?
I'm not sleeping tonight or tomorrow night or probably ever again until either I've clinched the division or beaten the Patriots in a couple weeks when these two teams play. I'm absolutely nervous. Belichick and the Patriots almost beat the Bills in one game last year. If Cam Newton doesn't fumble with like 2 minutes left when New England was driving down to tie it or with a field goal or score a game-winning touchdown, and that was not a great Patriots team. This team is 10 times better. If I'm McDermott, I am wildly, wildly nervous, and especially because the Bills have to play them 2 times in the next 5 weeks.
Yeah, and in that time, the Patriots get their bye.
That is true.
So
between the Bills games, I believe. Right?
Yes,
I
they're
think so.
going to go Bills by Colts, Bills.
Oh, so it's not Bills on back.
Right,
end,
right.
like
Right. But there is a bye. between-
Browns that have the Ravens by Ravens, which is
Yeah.
that's weird. I don't like that.
Crazy. It's crazy.
I'll say this. Actually, you know what? We're gonna take a quick break.
Oh boy.
Are we doing it? Oh, I may mess it up. I'm going to take a quick break. And when we come back from the break, we're going to let Wilson act like a peacock. So you look at this box score for the Patriots, and frankly, nothing stands out from an offensive perspective. They ran the ball. If you count the Kendrick Bourne and Brandon, obviously you count them, but it's like they ran the ball 24 times. Good yards per carry, but no big numbers. Kendrick Bourne was their leading receiver, 4 catches, 42 yards. Nelson Aguilar, 5 catches, 40 yards and a touchdown. But Mac Jones, 22 of 26 for 207 yards, a touch, and a pick, which was not a great pick, but it was a really nice play by A.J. Terrell. Wilson, would you like to peacock a little bit about Mac Jones? Because frankly, he looks great.
What is that, Breech?
That's a peacock.
It's a peacock.
Oh, it's a peacock.
You get the peacock. This is the official mascot right now.
You
Is that a
could
breach?
have
It's an
maybe,
albino
like,
peacock.
you could have slacked Debo and said, "Can you post a picture of a peacock with Wilson's head on it?" He probably could have done that.
There you go. I think Breech took that picture at the park. That's why he wanted to brag on that.
Yeah, I saw a peacock. So
No,
peacock.
Breech sent me a tweet during the game that he dug up from last February, where I was, pumping up Mac Jones as my number 2 quarterback behind Trevor Lawrence in terms of being ready to play this year, and it came true. So it is the takeaway for me is that, like, no one knows how this is going to work out, but it's just the fact that people get so angry during draft season that if you don't agree with as Pete calls them, what's he called, the Twitter mob, whatever he calls them, like
Twitter mob had their
cults.
pitchforks
cults.
out for you, Wilson.
They
They
did.
had their pitchforks out.
them and the TikTok bros.
TikTok tried to have you canceled.
Wait, hold on. Wait.
There it is.
I'm just stopping by to say, fire Ryan Wilson. Ryan.
Yeah, where's that guy right now, by the way?
And that was all for Wilson's mock drafts and having Mac Jones so high. That played a big part in it.
What
Which
was
is-
the TikTok stuff about Mac Jones?
Oh, it was about the mock drafts being so terrible. And the only thing that
Mac
was different,
Jones usually came up when he got ripped for his mock drafts.
because he would go 3rd overall to San Francisco after all the trades happened, and people were like, "Oh, they're going to get Mac Jones," and everyone. That's what made people really angry. That Mac Jones might be someone that would go 3rd overall after.
But like, if the
Trading.
49ers had Mac Jones, they'd probably be in first place in the division right now. Which is
I mean, you could say,
Maybe.
well, what would Jimmy G look like on the Patriots? But Jimmy G had a chance to be on the Patriots, and I know Tom Brady was still there, didn't work out, but I don't know. Yeah. So anyway, that's fun. Also, I remember that one of the few things that I wrote that isn't a literal mock draft is after the draft, I went through and ranked all the draft classes. Guess who I had ranked first days after the
Patriots and
the
if
Patriots?
you recall, after Nick Caserio left and went to the Texans, Belichick made this passive aggressive sort of like not really subtle dig. He's like, our drafts haven't been up to our particular standard over the last few years, and then like coughed and yelled Nick Caserio under his breath. Or it wasn't quite
That's true.
No, I mean, he didn't really say
Oh.
Nick Caserio.
No, but he basically said
Nick Caserio.
we need to be better. It kind of threw Caserio under the bus
Yes.
as much as Belichick will ever throw someone under the bus.
Huh.
It was a very passive aggressive kick under the bus of Nick Caserio, and then he went out and drafted Mac Jones, Christian Barmore, who's a monster on the interior, and Ramondre Stevenson, Ramondre Stevenson, who looks explosive. Exactly. There we go. It only took.
That's awesome.
Look
Look at that.
And all Mac Jones has done, he is now 5-0 on the road, only the 3rd rookie in NFL history to pull that off.
Love it.
Joining, any guesses?
Tom Brady.
I'm going to guess Mark Sanchez is one.
Those are your guesses. They are wrong. Ryan, you should have gotten this right because one of them was
Tom
Ben
Brady didn't play as a
Roethlisberger.
rookie.
Ben Roethlisberger, and then the other one was Dak Prescott.
Oh, that makes sense, actually.
Man,
There we
Debo is the talent.
So Mac Jones
I love
is
it.
now in the conversation with a 2-time Super Bowl winner and a guy who is looking really good right now in the MVP conversation.
Let me ask you this.
By the way, shout out to Debo, who the only reason it took so long to get the peacock photo up, he cut out the stuff around your head. No shortcuts for Debo.
Oh yeah, good job with the Photoshop, Debo.
Oh, I almost forgot. This holiday season, the best deal in wireless is at Mint Mobile. Right now, when you switch to Mint Mobile and buy any 3-month plan, you'll get another 3 months for free. That is what we call BOGO, kids. As the first company to sell premium wireless service online only, Mint Mobile lets you save a ton. With phone plans starting at just $15 a month, take advantage of this limited time holiday sale and get any 3-month Mint Mobile plan plus 3 months free at mintmobile.com/pick6. That's mintmobile.com/PICKSIX. If you're looking for BOGO cell phone, go and sign up for it. Mint Mobile. Excellent. Mobile wireless plans. What were you about to say, Wilson?
2 things, Debo. I'll put this in Slack, and you can put it on the big board if you so choose, because it's what we've come to expect from our buddy. And also, Breech, I'll ask you this, and Brinson, you can answer as well. Is anyone taking Jamar Chase as the Offensive Rookie of the Year, Breech?
Did we talk about that for a second? I don't know if here as the absolute homer Bengals fan, if I had to put them neck and neck, I think I would give Mac Jones the edge right now because he plays a much more difficult position. But it feels like those are the only two in the race. And, Jamar Chase has quieted down the last couple weeks because teams have been trying to take him out of the game. So if the Bengals went their bye week and got that figured out and Jamar Chase, blows up down the stretch, then he can still win it. But I do think it's either Mac Jones or Jamar Chase. I don't think there's really anybody else in the running unless people get crazy and want to give it to Rashawn Slater, who I think you could make an argument if somebody watches every single snap he plays. But I do think it's either Mac Jones or Jamar Chase, with Mac in the slight lead right now.
Okay, so two things. One, wait, Pete just tweeted that out like a minute ago?
He must have just woke up.
He actually, I'm on a text thread with Pete, and he hadn't texted in an hour.
So read
he was crafting that tweet.
So what's the tweet? What's the tweet for people who aren't watching?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Mac Jones is smart and accurate on the short throws, but at some point the ball has to go down the field. I get what he's saying.
He had one to Hunter Henry in like a 3rd and 5. He threw like 15 yards downfield.
He won 25-0. Why does he need to stretch
the ball? Doesn't have to go downfield if you've won 5 straight games.
If you can go into another team's stadium and shut them out.
And mind you, they had not been shut out. They had not been shut out since week 6 of 1988.
Well, like, why does he need to throw the ball down the field?
Learn the game, Pete.
Like, you don't think Mac Jones can throw the ball down the field? Belichick and Josh McDaniels are designing an offense that is catered. This is what drives me nuts about these teams that draft quarterbacks and don't cater to their skill set. Like, Matt Nagy just will not put Justin Fields in positions to accentuate his physical skill set. The Patriots are taking what Mac Jones does well and emphasizing it. And it is causing that team to improve and to elevate. I mean, like, why is that hard to figure out? You don't draft a guy and just drop him in your system and be like, run this. You build a system around your guy. And number 2 point, Mac Jones -125.
Oh, Najee's 3rd. That's interesting.
That is interesting. Trevor Lawrence is 4th at 50-1 along with Justin Fields.
And Mac Jones was plus money last week. So before the Sunday game and before tonight's game, you could still get him at plus money. There is no way that's going to happen.
There's Rashawn Slater. Rashawn Slater's plus 15,000, Breech. You're going to be a millionaire.
Of all the names that we just scrolled through on that list, he is playing the best consistently at the most difficult position.
And this isn't a Garrett Bradbury type thing. This is legit. Rashawn Slater's playing well.
Yeah.
He should be in the conversation.
Like that number next to his name is absurd. That's just the odds makers putting a number next to it because they know offensive linemen never win this award.
Well, I mean, it's them saying we understand he's in the conversation and people are talking about him.
He's plus 15,000 or whatever.
If the Pats win 10 games, this conversation is over, by the way. I mean,
what if the Bengals go to the playoffs and they even win a playoff game, Breech? It happens before the playoffs, is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, let me ask you this. I have a bet on Mac Jones to win Offensive Rookie of the Year at like 10 or 11-1, I think. I feel like that's something we gave out on here, but I don't want to. I mean, it was maybe after Cam was cut where we gave, maybe even during the Cam was cut emergency podcast where we gave it out. So I don't want to act like it's something we predicted before the season.
Well, Breech said 99% chance that they make the playoffs. What percent chance do they win the division?
50.
Wow.
I think it's pretty high.
Did I get the Patriots in the Super Bowl pool? I think I did.
That's what I said earlier. And Brinson because Brinson had mentioned taking a flyer on the Patriots in the preseason. And if the Patriots are 25-1 to win the Super Bowl right now, and if you look around the AFC, there's no team they can't beat. I mean, here's the one thing I will say though: if you're Bill Belichick and you just watch Tom Brady win the Super Bowl, the one way you get that Brady-Belichick argument back to even is winning a Super Bowl with Mac Jones. Because you know what? No coach and nobody in NFL history has ever won a Super Bowl with a rookie quarterback. And so, boom, you win your 7th Super Bowl and you make NFL history by doing it with a rookie QB. That brings you back into Brady's.
You're not wrong at all. It's just funny. You're like, do you know how you get Tom Brady back? You win your own Super Bowl,
but with Mac Jones.
Yeah,
but with a rookie, not Cam Newton, but with a rookie.
What about the very distinct possibility? I mean, like, it's not that far fetched. Pats, Bucks, LA.
Yeah, you were tweeting about this LA versus LA. That ain't happening. Who thinks LA versus LA is happening for a Super Bowl?
It'd just be fun. LA versus LA.
Brinson only thought that for 2 weeks. He gave up on it.
Oh, okay.
Now I wish I'd gone Pats Bucks before the season. But Breech on that too.
Did I draft the Patriots Breech? I'm trying to remember in our Super Bowl draft.
I think so. I was hoping I'd get the Pats.
No, I think C-Red did.
Ah, dang it.
That's why everybody loved his. His is looking even better.
I know. Dang it.
No, you did, Wilson. You did.
Oh.
My bad. You have
There we go.
Packers, Ravens, Patriots, Panthers. And now
that's looking better.
maybe if we revote each week, Brinson, you should run that poll each week and see how much it changes.
But I mean, this is how the NFL works, where it's just that the news cycle moves so fast that you forget about I mean, Jamar Chase 3 weeks ago had a 200 receiving yard game. We're just like, well, it's Mac Jones, obviously now.
And he is being a game manager. Like Jamar Chase has had way more splash plays in quotation marks in bunny ears, as Breech likes to say. But as Breech noted, he plays the most difficult position Mac Jones does of any of the positions besides kicker.
Look, these award markets are very fickle. The Bengals have lost their last 2 games, and Jamar Chase has 81 yards total on 9 catches in those 2 games. So he's fallen behind Mac Jones as the Patriots have won 5 straight games. Again, like,
oh, there, look at that. That's fancy.
oh my.
That's a sweet graphic. That's why you got to watch on YouTube. Everybody's listening on audio. We got the sweet graphic of our Super Bowl draft up there. And by the way, Brinson's poll got a little ugly for Brinson.
That's
Oh,
fine.
it did?
But that's the mean thing because his teams could still win, and then he'll get the last laugh.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Chiefs and Rams. That's an easy Super Bowl combination.
Well, the Rams just got
I like Wilson's little combo there.
I think C-Red one going away, right, Breech?
C-Rad got 40.3% of the vote.
Mercy.
I got 23.8%. Wilson got 20%, and Brinson got 16%.
No, all right, that's closer.
I mean, look, I don't want to devolve into this Super Bowl draft talk in the middle of the podcast. I don't like. I mean, would you put money, your money, on the Cardinals, Titans, or Colts to win the Super Bowl at their respective odds?
No.
Right.
That's why we didn't draft him. That's why C-Rad ended up with him.
Well, no, I'm just saying that like he's got the Bucks. Don't get me wrong. Like I think the Bucks can win, but I mean,
well, I think top to bottom, he has the best. Like if you look at our 4th choices, I would take the Colts probably over the Bengals,
but none of those
Saints,
teams are going.
or Panthers.
Yeah.
And I would probably take the Titans over the Chargers and 49ers, but probably not. I would take the Patriots and that. Like
I think Wilson's looks. I think Wilson's looks.
I was gonna say if you could trade for one person's team, who would you trade for?
I think if you gave me Pats instead of 49ers, that I would win the poll.
Probably, maybe.
Chiefs, Rams, Pats, and Saints.
But I think if you gave me Pats instead of Chargers, I would win the poll.
Right.
Probably.
That's right.
Or if how about swap out Pats instead of Bengals?
Yeah.
Well,
you can only trade. You can only trade in the same level. That's what I was
Devo
doing.
has something. Devo's like, no one touched the Eagles.
Exactly. Everybody in the chat was saying in the Instagram comments, what swung the votes was getting the number 1 team in the AFC in the 3rd round when he picked the Titans. That's what convinced everybody to see.
Yeah, that's a good
fair enough. And we do sleep on the Titans, and every January the Titans, if Derrick Henry's back,
the Titans schedule is cake, and now that's what makes next week. And just to bring it back to the game that we just watched, but
before you can move on, let me ask you, Brinson, because Breech said 50%. He thinks the Patriots win the division. What do you think it is?
I think it's lower. I mean, I think the algorithms and the projection models would say it's like 35%.
Wait for the Patriots to win the division.
Yeah,
I would say it's even the actual number 41.
Oh yeah, how about that?
What is it?
If we see an email from Stephen O with Sportsline's numbers and it's 41, you realize that we know and it came in before 11:51 p.m.
No, I'm not looking at
unfortunately going to have to call you out on that.
I think 41 sounds about right. Like 50 seems brash.
It is not crazy at all to suggest that the Pats can split with the Bills. And I have to look at it. I think the Pats have an easier schedule outside of the Bills.
Well, strength of schedule.
Now I'm sweating this Bills over somehow.
I think just strength of schedule, according to what Debo has up, is easier for the Bills going forward, it looks like, right?
But that's strength of schedule based on their wins. So
that's on their wins.
Yeah.
I have to look on.
So the Bills have the Colts at home.
The Patriots have the 12th hardest strength of schedule left. The Bills have the 13th hardest.
Oh, okay. So they're
strength
playing
of
the
schedule
same
left.
team.
So it basically comes down to those two, like the 2 games against each other. maybe it is 59-41 or maybe it's 55-45. Like I wouldn't. What is the first Bills Pats game is in Buffalo, December 6th. Ooh, 8:15. That means it's Monday Night Football. Hello.
Monday Night
And
Football.
the last time those two teams played, by the way, the Bills beat the crap out of the Patriots in primetime, like humiliated them last year.
Yeah, but that was a
If that game was happening this Monday night, in a, obviously fictional world where the Patriots don't have 2 days of rest, 3 days of rest, what would that line be?
where's the game?
In Buffalo.
-2.
That second game last year.
I mean,
That second game last year, Jarrett Stidham played like half the game, so I don't even consider that a good gauge.
I mean, the Bills ran up the score to let the Pats know.
Well, and you don't think Belichick's gonna remember that?
No, that's my whole point, is that he does remember that.
So -2. What don't you like about that?
I think it's a good line. I thought that you would.
Oh,
be
I thought you were gonna say
-5 or 6.
No.
Because I was hoping it would be. I was hoping you would say like 5, 6. Maybe make a mistake and say 7. I would be like, I want the Pats.
No. I think
-2 has to be at least -3.
Well, here's the thing: is that the Pats are about to play the number 1 seeded Titans that we just talked about. What do you think the point spread will be for that game?
where's that?
That is in New England, and I've actually got a point spread on my.
I'm gonna say.
I'm sorry. Good.
I'm gonna guess Titans.
I got to pull it up. You
I'm
guys
gonna
guess,
say
and I'm
Titans,
pulling it up.
Titans +1.
Brinson, what do you think?
It's in New England. Well, I know important factor here. I think this is very important for betting on Sunday. If you made your pick, Wilson, you can't change. But the Titans just saw the Patriots win convincingly on national TV. I think there's a pretty good chance Mike Vrabel is thinking ahead past the terrible Texans to the Pats. Very good spot to bet the Texans +10.5 or +10 against the Titans.
Do not do that. That offense is dog doo-doo.
I mean, it was okay when Tyrod Taylor was
There you
healthy in week 1 and the first half of week 2,
Right.
it wasn't horrible.
right.
So if he's not rusty anymore, it could be okay. I don't think they're going to beat the Titans, but it could
That's
be
a
okay.
big if.
So, Brinson, what do you think the point spread is for this Patriots-Titans game? I finally pulled it up.
Do the
In New England.
Yeah.
Wilson, what'd you guess? Titans
+1. Titans +1.
Do the
Titans favored by 1 or underdog by 1?
They're underdogs by 1.
Okay.
That's what +1 means.
Well, I was just clarifying because he's saying that the number 1 seed in the conference.
There's no way in hell the Titans are favored going into New England.
Oh, you don't think so? I
What
thought
do
it
you
was-
think it's going to be, Brinson?
I thought I was being bold.
I was going to guess Pats -3.
Boom. Brinson knows his point spreads. It's
Wow.
Pats -3.
Now,
thought I was
here's where it
being-
gets a little tricky. If the Titans only sneak past the Texans,
It's gonna shoot up.
right. So like if you have, like, I don't have access to next week's betting lines because I'm in North Carolina. If you have access to next week's betting lines,
I do.
You like in Vegas? Can you do that? You can bet
yeah.
a game
Oh, yeah.
3 weeks from now.
we look at
On some of the apps too. Like I can do the week ahead, 1 week ahead, but not any further.
How about that?
So that's what I'm saying. If you think like I do that the Texans will keep it close with the Titans as the Titans look ahead to the Pats game next week, it would behoove you to bet on the Pats -3 now because that's probably Pats -5 when we do our little early odds show on Sunday afternoon, Breech, or Sunday evening.
The thing is, Pats -5. I might be taking the Titans.
I don't know, man.
Well,
a lot
and
of
the
points.
other thing about this is that Mike Vrabel has never lost to the Patriots.
Boom.
He used to play for Patriots. He knows Belichick. He knows what he does, and he is 2-0 against Belichick, and he was underdog both times.
But that goes. And what was the play? Does that count the playoff game?
That counts the playoff game.
Right.
One regular season game where the Titans won 34-10, and then the playoff game where they won 20-13, but really 14-13 because Brady threw that pick 6 with 50 seconds left.
Oh,
Final
right.
throw was a Patriots player. But that goes back
His
to my point
last
about
pass. is a
taking.
Patriot, yeah.
That goes back to my point about taking the Texans. Like Mike Vrabel is keenly aware that they're playing the Patriots in 2 weeks. I think he wants to go into. Is it
50% chance Vrabel's not even there on Sunday because he's focusing on the Patriots game. He's like, you guys take care of the Texans. I'm going to stay in Nashville and focus on this.
No, it's in Nashville. So Texans are coming to town. I think they're going to try and run Dante Foreman like 30 times and get out of Dodge with a win with their defense. And the Texans come through the back door pretty easily.
Pretty easily. Have you seen this Texans team?
Well, they're terrible. They couldn't come through the back. They had the back door like Tua was like, or maybe it was Jacoby. It was like swinging the swinging
Screen door.
Screen door. Thank you. How do I
God.
have screen doors at my house? What am I doing?
Brinson's cut off.
Maybe. Okay. Anything else from this particular game? We're gonna do like 10 or 15 minutes in the chat. Hit the
Are the
like
Falcons?
button.
Are the Falcons playoff hopes? They're done. There's nothing because they were only a game or half a game out, and they had
What is their point differential the last 2 weeks? Like minus 72?
You mean with the Patriots and the Cowboys? I mean, they're only averaging 1.5 points per game, so probably yes.
Yeah, the Falcons.
What's 40 plus 25? That's their point differential. Negative 65.
Should our pal Jonathan Jones issue an apology for his apology to the Falcons? That's the question.
He recants his apology.
He needs to apologize for his apology.
Right. Oh, okay. Apologize and then recant.
Smash that like button. We're trying to give away a Brinson Sucks hat.
Ooh, and one other thing. Final score 25-0. Only the second time this century we have seen a final score of 25-0. The other one happened in 2002, Buccaneers over Ravens. Okay.
Also, on that score, I mean, imagine if the Pats had somehow made one more field goal.
And Young Wei Koo didn't miss
his field goal, and the final is 28-3.
Which wasn't his fault. Let me just say real quick, when you hit a 45-yarder and your team gets flagged for illegal formation on a field goal, it's not that hard to line up legally on a field goal. You just get out there and you do your thing. It's not like you're a receiver. You have to pay attention to where you are on the line. Getting flagged for an illegal formation on a field goal is just the most dumbest penalty you could possibly take. And so the Falcons just played dumb tonight, and that was epitomized it.
The Falcons were not a good football team when Arthur Smith came in. They are stuck in this weird purgatory where they have Matt Ryan as a veteran, like borderline Hall of Fame quarterback who is frankly too old to be playing with the rest of this roster and needs to be sent somewhere where he can win post Falcons life. And they have a couple like really good building blocks, AJ Terrell and Kyle Pitts count. And Thomas Dimitroff probably set him back about 5 or 10 years with the offensive line selections in that, what was it, 2019 when we were in Nashville?
Yes.
Yep.
We took Lindstrom and McGarry.
Yep. Traded up.
And I'm not saying that like those guys are bad players. Like it takes some time to become a good offensive lineman, but they tried to draft those guys and fix everything in the draft by trading into the first round with offensive linemen. That you can't do it like that. It very rarely works. So
and the irony is that the clip that Ryan tweeted out earlier tonight that was from back in February where he said Mac Jones is the second best quarterback in the draft. That was after Ryan had just written a mock draft saying the Falcons should take Mac Jones to replace Matt Ryan. And here we are.
Dunk on him? Do I say dunk on him? Or?
No, he did. That's he's right. They should have done it.
But here's
we're dunking on the Falcons.
Where would Mac Jones be right now if he were playing this Falcons team?
Where would the Patriots be right now?
I don't know who would be worse off, the Patriots or Mac Jones.
Cam Newton would probably still be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a weird.
Which means Sam Darnold will be starting this week, or PJ Walker.
An old, it wouldn't be Darnold. An old Dave Damashek. What if or NF or what does he do? NFL.
NFL.
NFL. Yeah, that's right. Love that stuff.
What if Dwight Clark didn't catch the catch?
He did.
That's just depressing. Okay, that's the end of the podcast. We will hang around in the chat. If you have questions, anything, you can ask about child rearing from John Breech. You can ask Wilson what guard he uses when he shaves his head. You can ask me about hair plugs. Anything you want.
There you go.
Thanks for listening to the podcast. We'll see you in the chat in just a few seconds. Okie doke. Somebody in the chat wants Wilson's right hats? No.
Wilson, what?
Optimistic hats on this podcast?
Oh, thank you, Drew.
What are you doing?
That's an idea.
Oh, by the way, I don't know if this is a live stream or not, but on Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, there it is. Brinson Sucks hat. We're trying to give one away. I will be doing a live stream with the guys from Breaking Bourbon. And I'll be sampling some Chattanooga bourbon. I assume I could talk about this ahead of time to promote it. We'll be doing I think it's a live stream on YouTube or, Twitch or something, and be sampling bourbon. And I'll be, saying things like, a lot of earthy notes on there. But I'm very excited as someone who went to high school in Chattanooga. And Nick from Breaking Bourbon, one of Ryan Wilson's good friends, right?
He's my accountant. That's how I met Nick.
Okay. Business professionals.
No, he's a good dude. He lives in our neighborhood. He lives in the nicer part of the neighborhood.
So is he an accountant with his side job as a bourbon expert, or is he a bourbon expert with a side job as an accountant?
I think it's actually he's a really good accountant, number one. But I think he obviously did this as a side gig because he and his buddies.
They have a team, and also this is apropos of nothing, but like he was like, "What's your email so I can send this to you?" And I gave him, our emails changed over with the merger, so I gave him like the new one. I was like, man, I thought these guys are going to email me. Never showed up. So I would suggest giving people your.
If you give the old one, it still forwards to the new one.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
I looked like, unfortunately, me.
Right.
I didn't reply to the email right away.
No, I remember Breech. I would go see him every year for taxes and stuff, and he said, "Yeah, listen to your guys' podcast and what's your setup?" Because he wanted to figure out how to do the audio stuff. And yeah, he's smart. He figured it out.
I'm pretty pumped. Like, I'm gonna get some samples and I have to taste it and say smart things about bourbon. Apparently,
he did say he has a whole room, and this was like probably 2 years ago. He has a whole room of just like samples.
Insane,
because they're so successful now that, and a lot of famous people, I guess, make alcohol, so they get a lot of stuff from famous people. And he basically said, for my kids' weddings, we'll be all set at the bar. There will be nothing to worry about with the bar.
The great Molly P has a question. When was the last time the three of you guys were together? That is a good question.
Was
it Nashville, was it?
No. We were in, remember
it was the Super Bowl in Miami.
Oh, right. Yes. Right before I got deathly ill from spending time.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That was 21 months ago. 21 months ago
right.
is when it was.
R.I.P. Kobe.
That
Kobe
was
died.
What? Yeah. You have to bring it up.
Right. Around then.
I actually thought it was.
That was I don't know.
I thought it was the previous August when Breech locked himself to the cafeteria at midnight trying to steal pizza.
I wish. Do we have photos of that? I think we do.
Yeah, I do.
No, but we have photos that I haven't showed of me carrying Brinson home because he couldn't get back to his hotel in South Beach.
That is true. Debo can confirm as much.
Yep.
Those are my blackmail photos. I haven't had to break them out yet.
Yeah, a lot of blackmail photos from that night, if I recall correctly.
My phone is literally, if it ever falls into the wrong hands, everyone's fired. That's all I'm going to say. No, I'm just kidding. You guys won't get fired. I don't think.
Yeah, that was the last time. So 21 months ago.
Thanks for the effort, guys. Wilson, why don't you read this one?
John Sirachi writes, "Thanks for the effort, guys. I'm alone. High. Fantasied out for the night. Need to come down off the shelf. Well, if you need Debbie Downers,
I was like, what is he?
Just keep talking to Brent. Brinson can tell you can down you out all you want. Tell him my medical secret.
Brinson can tell you how he felt the day after we went out the Super Bowl in Miami, the last time we saw each other.
Yeah, tell your kid that Mac Jones is the next Tom Brady.
I do. Well, all right, one, I would say this: watch some Curb Your Enthusiasm. Really easy into the couch. Two, I thought I tweeted something about Mac Jones and how he's playing, and I got a bunch of like a bunch of Pats fans and non-Pats fans arguing my mentions about Mac Jones. And I think it's important to note that, we talked about Mac Jones as a guy who has a really high floor. And that's true. He has he's shown his extremely high floor. The idea that Mac Jones is maxed out his ceiling is kind of stupid.
People just say that because he's not athletic, and that's all it comes down to.
A 23-year-old human being has not maxed out their athletic potential. Never. It just doesn't happen like that. And when Tom Brady was basically a game manager and a clutch performer late in games, who was converting third downs and making great red zone decisions and not turning the ball over for the first 3 or 4 years of the Patriots, he wasn't carrying that team. He was just a perfect piece to go with this great defense, running game, and some nice weapons, but not elite weapons, Deion Branch and whatnot. That's what Mac Jones's ceiling is way higher than people give him credit for, is my larger point.
Yeah, again, because he looks like I said it all. I think I said it in that clip that Breech pointed me to and that I retweeted out. If you look like Tua, no one cares. He has a better arm than Tua. He's just as athletic as Tua. Tua's not a good athlete. He just looks like an athlete. He doesn't run a lot, and that's the difference. And Mac has like I just said, Mac's arm is better than Tua's. Mac doesn't have a bad arm, and that was sort of a talking point that media folk kept leaning into, and it wasn't true during the draft process. So, people don't like to be wrong. and then when they are wrong, they sort of like to rewrite history on Twitter, and that's fine, But I keep coming back to the old Dave Chappelle quote: "F it, Twitter ain't real, so it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't matter." And I think that's true.
What if Mac Jones' name was Steele Gunderson?
I would have a Steele Gunderson jersey. I'll tell you that.
I mean, the fact that he's more Corkle Jones definitely plays a factor into it. Like
right. He looks.
This guy's a goober from Bama. Like,
so
be good.
If Mac Jones, if they're going to win Super Bowl, though, Mac Jones is going to have to win multiple playoff games. The record for most postseason games won by a rookie quarterback in one postseason.
It's got to be Ben, Flacco, or Sanchez, right?
2.
Let's see. Ben, they had to buy his rookie season, so they only played the Jets game that they should have lost, and they lost to the Patriots.
And none of them have ever made it to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they should have lost to that crappy. That was the Herm Edwards Jets team back in 2004, I believe. But I think who was kicker? O'Brien. One of the kickers missed.
For the Jets?
Yeah, the Jets kicker missed an easy field goal that helped.
What was the about?
He was trying to correct me if I can't remember the kicker's name. For
who are the rookies?
You said them all. It wasn't Ben. He was 1-1. You said it was either Roethlisberger, Flacco, or Sanchez. It was Flacco and Sanchez. Those are the only two.
Flacco had that game in I think it's
where he had where he had like 30 yards passing. Yeah, and they still, and I think it was against the Patriots.
It was in New England.
I think Ray Rice had a big game that game, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, those are the only two quarterbacks in NFL.
That was the game before when they beat the Texans.
NFL history who have won multiple games in the same postseason as a rookie.
Remember Ray Rice ripped off that huge run on the first
that was a Texans game.
Ravens play from scrimmage against the Texans.
Hey.
I think.
All right, Breech. I'm going to tell you right now what happened.
Ooh,
Doug Bryan was that his name?
Chase Moore has 2 good questions. He asked eggnog, thumbs up or thumbs down.
100% thumbs up.
2 thumbs up.
Look at that. We all agree. So wait a second. There's no way that Debo likes eggnog. He's too young to like eggnog.
No. He knows. Remember, he wanted to try the Bud Light Seltzer eggnogs.
Oh, that's right. He likes those terrible beers.
Sorry, go ahead. Debo.
No, haven't found it yet.
All right, I'll go to Tuna Wine and I'll mail you some.
I'm on the lookout for it.
That's crazy. 4 for 4 on the eggnog.
You know, the only thing better than eggnog?
I don't like spiked eggnog.
Just nog. The nog with no egg, or it's just nog.
Road nog.
I don't know what that means.
That sounds inappropriate.
A big cup of eggnog when you're driving. Hypothetically speaking, of course.
I don't drink spiked. I like regular. I like just like kitty
of course. I'm talking about just regular.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I keep my eggnog drinking to him. Eggnog is like, don't ever look at the nutrition label on eggnog because it will.
There is none.
Yeah.
It's the fattiest. You drink eggnog for like 2 or 3
you
nights.
You could eat, if you ate a whole Thanksgiving. Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, you can kind of get away with it.
Your belt doesn't fit anymore. Your pants don't fit anymore.
But like you do it in your late 30s or 40s. You're like,
you like, literally have to do it. You have to do it on a treadmill. Like you have to take sips while you're sprinting.
Tom Point. Yeah, you're right. The Ray Rice run was against the Pats.
Thank you.
I don't think it was against the Texans.
So Chase Marr also asked, is Josh McDaniels the most wanted?
The Texans thing was Wes Welker tearing his ACL. My bad.
That was 2009, I believe. Is Josh
McDaniels Flacco
most wanted this offseason for future head coaching jobs, or does the Colts incident scare teams off? That's a good question. Part of me was wondering, while Joe Buck and Aikman were talking about during the game about how good McDaniels is, if he's just okay, and I talked about this before, especially with Kyle Shanahan, maybe it's just okay being a coordinator, because we don't know that Steve Belichick isn't going to get the job at some point when Bill Belichick retires. And maybe Josh McDaniels went out there, wasn't great in terms of the Denver situation, and obviously the Colts situation changed his mind. We don't know what he was or was not promised when he backed out of that Colts situation. And maybe he's like, you know what? I like not having to deal with the micromanaging part of the head coaching job, and I'll just be a coordinator. So I don't know if he's going to be – he'll be in demand. I don't know if he'll leave. That's my point.
If Mac Jones is going to stick around for – you're on mute, Breech. If Mac Jones is going to stick around for 18 years, as Troy Aikman suggested on the broadcast, then Josh McDaniels shouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, right? I think the question is McDaniels expecting to be the head coach after Belichick retires? Because look, Belichick, I can't imagine him coaching past 75.
18 years. Bill Belichick would be 87.
Oh, leave Troy alone.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Who said they found their quarterback for the next 15 to 18 years?
So I don't think Belichick will coach past 75. So I think that's the maximum we'll see him, and that's 6 more years. Josh McDaniels is 45, so that would give him the Patriots job at 51, and then boom, you keep it for 20 years with Mac Jones as your quarterback.
Oh wait, Stephen Belichick's there though.
That's true.
Now, the one thing about the Pats job with McDaniels that I would be a little wary about if you're McDaniels, you need to be self-aware about this, but that's tough to do in that spot. But if you're Bob Kraft, Belichick is the GM. He runs things. So how are you going to handle that transition if you were to bring in Josh McDaniels to succeed Bill Belichick? Who are you hiring that you slot in above McDaniels? Because we have seen in Denver, it doesn't work for McDaniels to run personnel.
Well, I think they've already got the people in place. You just keep whoever Belichick put in place, you keep them there. And then I think because he still has Matt Patricia's there, which we laugh about his Lions coaching stint, but he's in the background, New England, kind of doing. Why do you give me that face?
You just said Matt Patricia while talking about who could be the general manager for the Patriots.
Well, I'm saying that he's in the background, kind of helping out there. That's somebody that could help out McDaniels. The person who's doing it now, I don't know why they would leave anytime soon. His name escapes me.
Who?
The basically the person's helping. The person was Nick Caserio's role right now.
Oh, yeah, I don't know who that is.
But they're doing a good job, and I would assume that person would stay on if McDaniels took over. So you don't replace anybody because you don't need to bring your own people because all your own people are already there.
Where would be a good landing spot if you're McDaniels that you'd be willing to leave to be a head coach?
Cincinnati.
Would you want
McDaniels?
Dave Ziegler?
I'm not saying
is that who
I
it is,
would.
Breech?
Maybe.
Wait, but your team is 5-4, and you're trying to fire Zach Taylor?
No, I am saying if I'm McDaniels, I'm an offensive mind. I'm looking for a place around the league where there's offensive talent that is young.
Well, this is where it's kind of interesting just in terms of like the long look at the coaching situation. All right, no one unless Kyle Shanahan is fired, which I really don't think is going to happen. No one in the NFC West is getting fired. I don't think anybody in the NFC South gets fired.
Nobody's thinking Kyle Shanahan's getting fired.
Okay, right. All right, so that's two divisions that no one's getting fired. NFC North,
Matt Nagy
could get fired.
Do you want that job, though?
Zimmer's on the hot seat. If that team
job?
goes 6-11, no.
Yeah, all right. So Minnesota and Chicago. So we got two teams in the entire NFL so far. Dallas, Philly, Washington, Giants, maybe Joe Judge. So that's three teams.
But you don't want that job either.
You don't want that job.
You know what? Exactly. KC, Chargers, Vegas is hiring. Do you want that job?
If you like Derek Carr, you do. So Brinson does not want that job.
Denver could be potentially hiring, but they're 5-5. They're not that bad.
Well, if you get if something like crazy like Aaron Rodgers or Russ Wilson happens, you take that job. But
but
that's a huge if.
But you would have to take the job before the Rodgers thing happened.
What about the Miami job with Deshaun Watson?
What about the Jacksonville job with Trevor Lawrence? Wilson keeps saying that Urban Meyer's going to quit before 2 seasons. So what about going to Jacksonville and coaching Trevor Lawrence?
I mean, that sounds lovely. Yeah, if you're an offensive mind, that sounds fantastic. If you get Trevor Lawrence, you go.
Maybe.
My point is that I think there are only like 4 or 5 jobs that actually might come open this offseason.
No, every year it's 7.
I don't know.
There's always a surprise one.
I guess Philly could be the surprise.
Debo
does something rash and they have to hire someone new.
Debo's back on the Sirianni bandwagon.
Playoffs, baby.
Oh, also, you can scratch off the Broncos for Josh McDaniels.
Why not? You can go home again. Everyone goes back to New England.
Who says that you can't
Who's
go
the
home?
fastest super friend? It's not me. John Breech will say it's him, and Wilson will say
I
it's
would
him.
say because of age, it's probably me.
Yeah, but I was
I'll
playing.
take Wilson.
Yeah, I play Old Man Soccer League up until this
That's
summer.
true.
So, when's the last time you did a sprint? Like, just
that's what I was going to say. If the race was 3 years ago, I think I win hands down.
Well,
but due to the pandemic, and I have not. I don't. In the past year and a half, I can't remember the last time I did a full sprint.
Hey, Wilson, if you were not athletic, wouldn't you spend a lot of time bragging about how athletic you were?
Right.
Like, I ran a marathon. I threw the football 75 yards.
Why were you?
I actually once got tackled throwing a touchdown 55 yards. No one can remember it. It was called back, and of course, a JV squad with no stats.
We have done multiple
witnesses, but no big deal.
We'll have a court case coming up soon on that.
Yes,
not tonight though.
We got witnesses coming.
I have Matlock on my side.
Why were you sprinting 3 years ago, Breech?
Because that's how I ran. Like, you do intervals. That's how.
Okay.
That's how I keep myself in shape.
Give us a little more detail on these intervals. That'd be great.
Actually, I do those too, but I thought he was going to say
I want to know how long the intervals.
Go ahead. Yeah, I thought you forced.
Well, like 3 years ago, every other day I ran probably 2 or 3 miles. And then if I didn't, you run a mile, but you're sprinting and then walking like 100 yards and sprinting 100 yards. I mean, I don't have the exact distances in front of me because, again, I haven't done it in 3 years, but that's how I kept in shape.
I do it actually on shorter distances. I don't
Wilson does it too. Boom. Brinson doesn't believe me, and Wilson is here doing it also. So, Brinson, you're the guy who's out of shape here. That's the story.
That's widely acknowledged by the court of public opinion.
Yeah, Brinson isn't one to acknowledge things that aren't in the best light for him, and he quickly acknowledged that he would be
criminally out of shape right now. The good news is I've just got like it's like all. I mean, I'm not like spilling out of my chair or anything.
Yeah, it's everyone's.
If New England offered Ryan Wilson $250,000 a year to be Matt Patricia's quality control coach, would he do it?
What would that job entail? Do you think?
You have to
shave his beard and catch the
other
clippings.
hygienic.
That's not a quality control coach.
No, you're
that wasn't
you're
in the job
quality
description.
control of his hygiene.
No, not for $250,000 a year. Or is that $2.5 million? If that's $2.5 million, I'll do it. That's $250,000. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, everybody's doing it for $2.5 million. $250,000.
No, are you doing it for $250,000?
To floss Matt Patricia's teeth every night.
No, I don't do that for my kids. No.
Okay, I think we've hit our point.
Yeah, that's it.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you had a question you missed, you can always leave a 5-star review in the mailbag. I'm sure or 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. I'm sure we will, or come back. Come back on Sunday. The Thursdays and Mondays are starting to kind of
blur together.
Yeah.
Same thing. Yeah. You guys are the best. Appreciate you listening. Appreciate you watching. We will see you.